Hey guys, Clumsy here, and welcome back to ETS2. I told you we'll be driving more with this truck, and this trailer in particular. This, how do you call it? HCT 34-meter trailer from Cast. I'm glad it's back, and I'm glad that it's ownable now. And if you haven't checked it out yet, please do check out the mods spotlight video for it. Because today we have a little bit of a different focus. Today we are doing a sound check. So I mentioned it a bit in the last mod spotlight, what my plans were. And I think it's working now, but I need a sound check. I need to hear how it sounds, how it blends together. And I'll need your guys' help about it as well. So what I did is to mix a bit of the sounds. You know, I'm a huge fan of EVR, Engine Voice Records, and recently he released the Renault Premium sounds with so beautiful switches and engines and everything. And then but the problem is that's only applicable for a single truck. now we're the Next Gen Scania, we have Kriechbaum sounds from here, like that one, right? But I wanted to keep some of EVR sounds in there as well. So what I did was I tweaked a few of the settings, a few of the definition files, so that we have Kriechbaum's engine sounds for the Next Gen Scania, but at the same time we have the switches, the sound of the switches from EVR. Yeah, so the blinker sound itself is still from Kriechbaum, so it's authentically coming from the Scania, but the switch itself, that one is coming from EVR now, and all the other toggles as well, parking brake and everything. So it's a bit of a mix and match, and I want to see how it blends together, if it sounds good, and if it blends just fine, you know. So we'll do a sound check, and I'll describe you along the way how it all is set up, and maybe you guys can give your 2 cents on what you think about it, alright? But first and foremost, we have to get out of this garage. Driving with this trailer is not the easiest. It's a bit tricky, very hard to maneuver at times. It can be very deceiving because sometimes it feels like you don't really need like any special adjustment for it, but then again it surprises you at the last moment, and then it just snags on a wall or something. So it definitely needs a bit of fine-tuning in there. So the engine you're hearing is definitely from Kriechbaum V8 stock sounds version 1.1, which was released a couple of weeks ago, I think. Quite new. So all the truck specific sounds, that's coming from Kriechbaum. The engine, the hisses, the air shift, the gear shifting, you know, all that stuff from Kriechbaum. But the switches, the toggles, the wheel noises, the things that like when you come across a how do you call it? Oh man, I'm missing the words. When you come through a pothole or through a barrier like this, and when your truck shakes and everything. So that one, those sounds, those shaking sounds, so to speak, are coming from EVR. So have a listen, and let me know if you like the blend, or if you prefer the original or the Sound Fixes version, because Sound Fixes also changes a couple of the toggles, right? But this one, so instead of using Sound Fixes for those toggles, I'm using EVR mainly. That's the major change, but everything else should be Kriechbaum. Empty pallets going to where is it going to? Jönköping. Where the heck is that? Oh yeah, that's going to be difficult. Yeah, I might need to skip loading here, depending on how this goes. You will see. You will see. Actually, I'm not sure, because with 1.32 you need to also park on the way in, right? When you're loading, you need to park, and you can skip it, like you can see in the pop-up right now. But can you skip it And not, will you lose any experience points if you skip the loading? Because I'm sure with the unloading, you miss out on experience points if you skip the parking. But this way, I don't think there's any XP attributed to this one, right? So maybe it's not that bad. So maybe we try it once. If it doesn't work, we just skip it. A for effort at least. Yeah, because how the heck are you going to fit in here? I can try to fit in all I want, but I don't think that's going to matter so much. I don't think this was built for an HCT in mind. High capacity transport, is it? Yeah, I don't think so. Let's skip it. Yeah, there you go. And I have a bad feeling about this. Okay, good. It wasn't as bad as I thought, because I was thinking maybe it was the same as the mod spotlight, where when we respawn like this, the trailer at the back kind of bounced off and got like 19% damage just by being turned around automatically with the game. So glad to see it wasn't that way here. But yeah, unfortunately we have to skip some of the parkings with this kind of setup. 34 meters is a bit too long for the game's loading and unloading areas. Very good. Yes. So I'd like to think that with these combinations, with this combination of Kriechbaum and EVR, we have the powerhouse combination, and that we can get the best of both worlds, so to speak. Now, for those who are familiar, I guess there are only a limited number of people who are familiar with how the actual switches of a Scania sounds like. Because come to think of it, if you're using the sound fixes pack for your toggles, I mean, it's the same sound for every truck, and it might not be that accurate with it. And so if you make it, instead of sound fixes, make it EVR, then it shouldn't be that bad, right? Actually, it should be much better, I believe. So let's see, let's hear it, let's give it a chance. Oh man, that's heavy. That is heavy. How are my axles doing? My axles are lowered. All my axles are lowered? Yes, okay, good. I need that. 28 tons of empty pallets though. Not that heavy, considering the trailer we have. Okay, how do we fit in here now? Slowly. That's how we fit in. Very slowly. Yeah, okay. I don't think that's going to be a problem. Yeah, we're good there. Alright, perfect. I guess we can close our lights now. Maybe let's keep those on, but not the headlights. Please don't hit any of the barriers. This is a very narrow ramp. Oh, Clumsy trucking. Yes. Here you go, brother. I'm loving that. I should really get that going for ATS as well. And I wonder if Cast's tracker trailer back is also included in traffic. Does anyone know? Keep your eyes peeled, guys, if you're going to see it in traffic, alright? Not sure if he added that. I think I saw that he does add it, but I'm not so sure. Keep your eyes peeled for any same skins that we have like that. And lots of Clumsy trucks here in Sweden. I guess I must be pretty famous here. Maybe not. A bit too much, actually. It's a bit weird, huh? I still have to check that out. Maybe there is something wrong with the setup I did. But that's all good. That's going to balance out as we add more trailers to the mods list. Right now I barely have anything in there, Yeah, we do see some other trailers. It's just that it seems like there's a bit too much of clumsy trucking going on, and I'm not sure that's such a good idea. Yeah, that one is different. Yeah, that's fine. Oh, slow down a bit. Are we almost there? No, I think this is a buggy GPS. The Next Gen Scania always had that buggy GPS, where the destination seems to be so near, and yet it's still 300 kilometers away. Yeah, so that's not it at all. So let's hear it. Well, the engine is purring. Yeah, those toggles are pretty nice. I like it. Stockholm on to the right. Man, this is such a relaxing view. I love driving in Sweden. The roads are just so, I don't know, so scenic everywhere you look, isn't it? Alright, let's do some Q&As. I have a couple listed in here. So we are still in that series, that what is your favorite company series. And in the previous Q&A we did the food section. This time we are going with, what is it? Clothing. So it's from Ansari. What is your favorite company for clothing? Now I'm not really a shopaholic when it comes to clothes, but I do have some favorites. Oh, what are you doing, bro? Good. Okay, not too bad. Okay, we're good there. Clothing. Yes, I'm not a fan of branded ones, that's for sure. I love picking out clothes that are comfortable, but at the same time not too expensive. I like buying cheap clothes. So I'm willing to pay for more expensive clothes if they're more durable, if they look really good, but just for the brand, no. Like, I don't know, Lacoste, the Armani, you know, the expensive brands. Not really a fan of those. I mean, if someone gives me, of course I'll accept it, but I won't buy it with my own money. Because for me, I could get like so many different pieces that are maybe not as good quality, but not that bad, and I could make it more worth my money. But yeah, I'm not a fan of the expensive brands. What I like though, I've recently been liking the Uniqlo brand, and I think that's becoming famous now more and more, because the Uniqlo brand is originally from Japan, but I think you have that in the US now as well. In Europe, I'm not so sure. I think you also do. I think I've seen a few Uniqlo branches when we were in Europe last time, but I can't specifically remember where. But yeah, Uniqlo is one of the brands that I really like. One, because it's Japanese, and Japanese connotation, you have that impression that you are wearing something that is pretty efficient, you know. You have that impression. If that's really true, at least that's my impression on it, and it still holds true, because most of my wardrobe is from Uniqlo. So like my jeans, my shirts, my gym attire and everything, most of them are from Uniqlo, because they're so simple. They're not fancy, they're not as expensive, like they're not super cheap, but they're not branded expensive either. So they're quite good actually, and they're very durable. And I like in particular the different like technologies that they have. You know, they have this like heat tech for when you're going to cold places, or things that are more apt for tropical countries like Singapore. They have airism, which is a very like thin material. Looks very good. So it feels very good, and it's very airy indeed. So I like it. It's very practical clothing, in my opinion. So that's definitely my favorite brand right now. Granted, it doesn't have many designs. Like if you want to really be if you want to give if you want to stand out or make a fashion statement, so to speak, it's not really the brand that you would pick. But that's not my goal anyway. My goal is to wear something that is decent, is comfortable, is durable, and it's not too expensive. So I'm a fan of plain clothes, just the nice colors, and I'm happy. But I don't need any fancy stuff. So yeah, I'm fine with Uniqlo. Uniqlo is perfect for me. The only time Uniqlo is not perfect is the sizing is aimed more for Asians, I think. I'm not sure if they change that depending on where they are. But here in Singapore, the sizing is a bit small. Like for an Asian, I'm kind of a big guy. So most of the time when I get something like a shirt, it's almost always going to be the biggest size. And it kind of is a bit of an ego, like you don't feel too good about it, like being on the edge. Like the biggest, you can only fit in the biggest size. So if you grow a little bigger, you won't be able to fit in a Uniqlo shirt anymore. And before I forget, let's take a photo there over the bridge. Beautiful scenery with railings and everything. And this side, yes, definitely this side is what I like better. Yeah. So yes, definitely Uniqlo, definitely simple, practical clothing. I like that. Oh yeah, that kind of looks cool, doesn't it? And one close-up shot. More focus on the truck. Like so. Very clean truck. Good here. And yes, as we were driving here, I got an idea. Of how I can probably reduce the number of clumsy trucking trailers on the road. So this is going to be a bit technical, but bear with me, right? Because I was thinking what I did to be able to implement that in the modding aspect, I had to create a different kind of trailer. Like there is this trailer that's called there's this trailer that's the SES default trailers, right? SES box trailers. And this SES box trailers has like, I don't know, let's say 10 default skins. That looks so good as well. Actually, that looks even better. I should have taken a shot here instead. Oh, that's fine. So the default skins have, like, the default trailer has like, let's say 10 skins, yeah. And then I made a new type of trailer. Let's say that's the Clumsy trailer. That is a basic, like a copy of the SES trailer. But this Clumsy trailer only has the Clumsy trucking skin. And so if the game tries to balance that out, maybe it creates two trailers? Or how do you say? Maybe it creates, how do you illustrate that? Let's say it creates 4 trailers, yeah? It tries to balance that out. So it creates 2 SES default and 2 Clumsy trailers, right? So the 2 SES default trailers can have 10 possible paint jobs. So maybe it picks a Nord something trailer and a Eurogoods trailer, let's say, just for example. Now the Clumsy trailer has only one option, which is the Clumsy trucking skin. So you have 2 Clumsy trucking trailers spawned, one Nord and 1 Euro goods, right? And that's how it goes. Like, if you imagine that's only for 4 trailers. If you imagine 100 trailers, then that will be like 50 Clumsy trucking skins and 50 combined different types of SCS default skins. And that's why we see a huge amount of Clumsy trucking skins, probably. That's how I see it. Because the splitting is wrong. So I think what I need to do, if my theory is right, I need to also add the default paint jobs to my Clumsy trailer, so that when a Clumsy trailer is spawned, there is a chance that it has a Clumsy trucking skin, or there is a chance that it takes the default company trailer. Something like that. And so we don't oversaturate it with Clumsy trucking skins. That way when we see one, we're really happy. Because at this point, I think it's a bit too much, isn't it? Yeah, so I'll do that. And I'll update it in the Steam Workshop. That's what I love about the Steam Workshop. I update something, I push it out, and everyone gets an update. Hassle-free, yeah? Oh man, I love the textures here. These are still from Next Gen textures. The roads and the vegetation. Actually, I'm waiting for the Next Gen textures to be released, because this is 1.3 beta. And I'm waiting for 1.3, the official one, which is going to be released very soon. Maybe as you're watching this, it's already been released. But yeah, I really like that. It's one of my must-have mods now. And I'm so glad that he decided to not make it a paid mod, because he was thinking initially of making it paid. I'll probably do a silent trucking episode as well with this kind of setup, with Kriechbaum's engine sounds plus EVR's common sounds, and see how it looks. Oh, I think I snagged something. Oh, that doesn't look good. Snagged a little there, but no, not really. Did I? Maybe just a little. No harm, no foul. That's still 0 everywhere, right? Yeah, 0 everywhere. Good. Not my fault. Man, this looks so good. And the lighting is from foggy weather. If you saw there, that bit of stutter there, that was the autosave feature. Because I'm back with Trucksbook. I gave Trucksbook another chance. And if you remember, I mentioned this a few episodes ago. Trucksbook was setting G-Save format to 2, which was causing that autosave to take a bit longer, causing that stutter. And I removed it for a while because I didn't like any stutters. But VT-Log, the original the logger, the job logger that we're using, is a bit unreliable. And Trucksbook is definitely more reliable when it comes to logging jobs. So I think I'm just going to live with a stutter for now, just so I can get my jobs logged properly. Because it feels really bad when you do like a very long job and it doesn't get logged. I hate that. In VT-Log, that happens more often. In Trucksbook, it's more reliable. But yeah, you have to live with the stutter on autosave. It's a bit of a trade-off. Now, hopefully in the future they get a chance to fix that, but right now we have to live with it. Anyway, let's do more Q&A. So that's clothing. Clothing, one word, one answer. If you want a quick answer, Uniqlo. That's my choice. Now with games, Sulfur then asked, what is your favorite company for games? Games, well, of course, SCS. There's no doubt about it. SCS is like the best company ever that I've encountered. The most interactive, the most how do you say, they listen to their fans. They're the most receptive. Granted, they're not the fastest releasers, so they're not really able to fulfill the demand, but that's a good thing. That's a good problem, because there is more demand. That means so the fans love them, and the fans love them so much that they cannot keep up with the demands of the fans. So that's a good problem to have, other than the opposite way, right? Other than saying you have you can push out all the content you want, but the fans don't really like you. So it's a good problem to have for SCS. But yeah, SCS definitely. But of course, that's a given. Granted that you're watching Truck Sim and we are all probably fans of trucking, then most likely you are a fan of SCS as well. So let's talk about other companies. Maybe what else? Before I went into the trucking world, I was a huge fan, or I am a huge fan of Blizzard. Blizzard is one of the companies that I really like, and I know, of course, every company has their haters, but personally, I like the style. Bro, let me through, please, thank you. Rip car. Oh, actually, I didn't hit him. Interesting. Random roadwork site. And do you guys see the sky? The sky has been there for quite some time. This sky is beautiful and perfectly fitting for this kind of landscape, isn't it? Goodness. Oh, no wonder it looks so good. I love those switches. Yeah, I think I'm going to keep this kind of setup. And I'll probably share it with you guys as well. But you'll have to have EVR sounds first, so you cannot the add-on that I'll be releasing is only for enabling EVR sounds as common truck sounds for every truck, but it doesn't contain the actual sound files. So to get the actual sound files, you need to buy EVR sounds, yeah, if you're interested. But yeah, it would not be proper for me to copy his sounds and upload it somewhere else. That's fraud. Alright, but yes, going back to the topic, Blizzard. Blizzard is probably the other company that I really like, with all the amazing games that they've released. Granted, they don't always have the... like, sometimes they make a bit like shady decisions. Some releases are a bit like not balanced and stuff, but more or less they are very reliable. At some point I even wanted to work at Blizzard, although I realized later on that my skill set doesn't really match pretty well with gaming companies. But if it did, that's probably where I wanted to work. And I really like their games. Diablo, Warcraft series, Starcraft, all that stuff. I loved those games before. It's just that I think I've outgrown them by now. Like, that's something I realized. The games that I liked before, I still like, but when I play them now, it's like something's different. Like, something has changed in me. It's not that the game has become worse or that the game is not good anymore. It's just that I'm looking for something different. It must be the age, I don't know, but right now I'm not so much into RPGs anymore, not so much into shooters anymore. And some of you probably can relate to that sentiment. There's the parking slot, but how are we facing in there? I think we go through the right like this. So down here. Too bad I wasn't able to let you hear the shaking sounds. I love those shaking sounds from EVR. You can hear the water bottles shaking as you're going through a pothole or going through a speed bump, things like that. So good. Oh, that's a bit too close to the border. I'm looking at my front mirror there. It's a bit too close, but fine. So let's try this. Maybe I'll try this a couple of times, because it looks pretty straightforward, but I think the length is still a bit too much for this. Although maybe we can reverse it in, I don't know. It's going to get a bit tricky though. Like even the warning disappeared already because they were so far away from the parking. How the heck am I gonna fit in that? Probably like that. Oh, that's not going to go very well. Yeah, it's a very tricky thing to park this. I guess because the parking areas weren't built for this kind of length in mind. Let's take it slow. No, 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 no. It's a bit too much still. Okay, that way. And then let's reverse it. Something like that. Oh no! That's going to wreck my dolly. Oh, that's... yeah. It's a real challenge parking this thing. I don't really understand the mechanics of it. That's an entirely different ball game. Like parking a tandem, that I think I can still stomach, but parking a double like this, it is something that's beyond me. Something like that, maybe. And actually I need to make it the other way, didn't I? Yeah, it doesn't work. Let's try it one more time. Let me maybe loop all the way around. Let's see if that works. If it doesn't, I'll just skip it. Skipping parking has become an essential option with this kind of setup. And although it doesn't feel good, sometimes it's the only viable way of doing it. But yes, so I can talk more while we're trying to park this. Blizzard is my top company game aside from SES. Yeah, it's not like I've outgrown their games a bit by now. Like Diablo 3, I used to like that very much, but recently, whenever I try it, I try WoW, World of Warcraft, and stuff like that. It feels good, but you know, I just can't spend that much time anymore playing a game. I get tired. I think of things I need to do, or it becomes too tedious for me. Like so many things you need to do in this game. You need something simpler, you know, things like that. It's a bit of a shame. Yeah, this one is supposedly a perfect parking, if only that crate wasn't there, that container wasn't there. But maybe that can work like so. Maybe we still have a chance here. I'm going to keep my fingers crossed. No, but maybe we can reverse it in. I have no clue. How do we make this work, guys? If I face to the left a bit, my trailer to the left, to push my trailer. Push it. There we go. No, 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 not really. Okay. Wishful thinking. Push it to the other side, maybe? Something like that. Yes. And face here, this right. Come on. Work your magic. It's not that far away. It's actually in the box. Come on, bro. We can do it. No, really. Really cannot. Oh my goodness, this is such a painful thing. Move it to the left like that. Oh, I always think that it's going to be the one. There we go. And then park it like so. Give me a few more tries, right? Let's spend a few more minutes here just to try and see if we can make that work. Aside from Blizzard, what else do I want? What else can I think of? Actually, I'm not sure. I'm not so sure anymore. SCS? Blizzard? What else did I play before? What was that? BioWare? What was that with the Mass Effect series and the Dragon Age series? Maybe that's the one as well. But yeah, the same thing. Kind of outgrew them already. So that's one way of doing this. And if I push you in like so. Come on. Come on. That's in. Goodness, that's in. Alright, let's do that. No, really cannot. I hate it. I hate it. Last try. Nope. No go. Alright, one last try. This is really rage quit material. Okay, let's try it again. This time with the biggest turn I can try. How do I do it? I should be probably steering from here, from this side. Then let's even take the grass here. Oh, you heard it? Yeah, that shaking sound. Yeah, that's the one I was waiting for. That's the silver lining to all this. You hear more of the water bottle shaking. That's from EVR. There, that's the widest space I can give you. If that doesn't work for you, I don't think anything will. Come on, bro. Come on, work with me in this one. There we go, we did it, guys. The grass was the key. Phew. Alright, we needed every bit of space in there. Okay, that was good. Wow, that feels good. Even without reversing, that was super hard. Let's take one more job. No, not for this video, but I want to take some job. Maybe I'll do it offline, or maybe I'll do it for silent trucking. I don't know, we'll see. Oh, we can go straight to Malmo. Helsingborg. That's a very short grass rolls. That's interesting. Yeah, maybe that one can work. So that looks okay. My trailer didn't bounce. That's good. But yes, I'll probably leave that for clumsy trucking. We'll see how that works, right? Anyway, thank you for watching. Let me know what you think of the sounds. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to showcase everything, but I think it all blends quite well. The fact that we don't hear anything that's popping out so much, that means everything blends in, right? But yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know in the comments. If you did like the video, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Share with your friends. Comment. Check out the Patreon if you're interested in supporting the channel directly. Thank you for watching, guys. Catch you in the next one. Really loving this. Thank you, bye-bye, and clumsy trucking. Let's hear that funky air horn. That's from Kriechbaum as well. Thank you and bye-bye. Have a nice day.